Man, those graphics get me every time. That shit's electric. I don't know. That just sets the tone right there, man. That is ESPN level quality right there. I think we're gonna have to change up that music though. Music's a little sleepy, and that's a little too sleepy for a Friday when we got, the special guest back in the building. We got Hilo. He's gonna walk us through the Edge content. He's gonna give us all the best plays because we don't have them. We don't have them. He's got all the best plays. He's gonna give it to us. Without further ado, gentlemen, how are we doing?
What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Yeah, this is gonna be a fun show. It's gonna be a fun show. Like diving headfirst into this slate here. I think a lot of my perspectives have changed, like just over the course of this week, and the way that the drafts have been going, and the way the slate's been going. Like I'm getting further and further away from eating that Buffalo and Ravens chalk. I don't know. It's pushing me away. I don't know why. What are we thinking there, boys?
Somebody jump in.
I don't know. Just all the news coming out. just a lot of news coming out like this just this morning. So I mean, well, first off, is that a pint there, John?
Oh.
I think we need to let people know what kind of time we're on.
Yeah, we're on happy hour time. West Coast happy hour starts at noon. Let's go. Oh, tall boys round. Bud Heavies.
Bro, yeah.
Me and my coffee, dude.
I don't have any liquids to grab. I feel like I don't know what to do with my hands.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Yeah, I am. Drinking the ever classy tall boy of Bud Heavy. So just so everyone knows what kind of analysis I'm bringing, it's straight hand in the dirt. Nothing but vibes over here, but that's why we got Mark.
Yeah, that's what Mark will level us out here. Hilo's got the takes for us. Numi's got the projections, and you and I are just we're gonna take a seat back here. We're gonna let these guys drive the bus. We're gonna have a couple cold ones. We're gonna celebrate the fact that the Mariners are one game away from a clinch job here.
Good for y'all.
Yeah, it's kind of bittersweet. They had to add a wild card so we could finally get in.
Yeah, this is the Seattle.
At least you can get in.
Here.
You know what I mean? Like we didn't get in. We lost. We got beat out by the Guardians. So
Yeah, after they sold their team, man.
Yeah. The D-backs were good like 21 years ago.
Life.
That's my old college roommate there. That's Adam. We say what's up to Adam, everybody. He's a good guy.
There we go. Saved his life. I love it.
What can I say, man?
Those takes were just so good,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just make such good calls.
Okay, Mark, I got the games that you wrote up in the Edge. I was listening to the audio version of it before we got in here, and I want to hit on one of the games that you were talking about right out the jump here. I want to hit on Chargers Texans because all week I've been, hey, let's hammer those late Chargers. Let's get in there. And then now I'm reading what you're writing, and it's kind of talking me off that cliff a little bit. And these offensive line injuries on the Chargers side, and I'm kind of walking it back. Like, tell me what you're seeing in that ball game.
Yeah, so the Chargers are probably one of the 6 or 7 broken teams right now. Like, there's the Bengals who, and it's all the coaching and play calling of the Broncos, the Bengals, the Chargers. The Steelers, the Colts, these teams who are just not scoring what we thought they would coming into the season. And the Chargers are firmly in that. They are making a conscious effort to scale back Austin Eckler's snap rate, but still feed him a similarly high per snap touch workload. But obviously if they're scaling him back, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing with Eckler and why I was kind of eating that Eckler in the third round this week and really liked it was the high value touches. He's got 22 touches inside the 10, and he's got 22 targets, leads all running back in targets. And I'm going, okay, I saw what Khalil Herbert did last week. Why can't Austin Eckler do that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pulling up the stats right now, but if you look at the red zone touchdown rate, for the Chargers, they're at where the fuck they go? They're at 54.55%, 18th, so right in the middle of the pack. Last year that was 64%, so they're scoring one fewer touchdown per every 10 trips to the red zone this year.
Which is very noteworthy.
Yeah, that's an issue when Eckler scored 18, 20 touchdowns last year. Yeah, he had 12 rushing and 8 receiving, I think.
That was always the Eckler regression narrative. It was propped up by these touchdowns that he had never scored before, and now all of a sudden he's scoring him he's scoring him last year, and that was the regression narrative coming into this season, right?
And the way that the Chargers are built, if you look at like the first 6 weeks last year versus the end of the season and then into this year, they have no field stretcher on the field anymore, and that's even more pertinent with Jalen Guyton done. So Mike Thomas, they transitioned him from this downfield, the high ADOT, like his ADOT, like for the first 6 weeks last year was like in the 15s. Now it's like in the 12s, and then like last year he was chilling in like the 8 to 9 range for a while. So it's like they moved him from this high upside downfield role to this like prototypical Mike Thomas X type possession wide receiver role, and now you have like, what other pieces do they have? They have Keenan Allen and a tight end. That's basically it. And then Joshua Palmer.
We might not even get Keenan Allen this week.
Yeah. So like none of these guys are like stretching the field. So that's just clogging everything. And teams are just playing zone against them, and they're attacking the point of reception, and they're not getting any yak, and they have no downfield like acumen. It's just kind of all within the first 10 yards. So I think that's really what's affecting their offense right now. And I don't foresee that changing anytime soon with the personnel they have, unless they like put Mike Williams back in this like higher upside downfield role and stretch out the middle of the field. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there. And now you have the left tackle, just what ruptured or tore his, messed up his biceps.
Done for the year.
He's done for the year. So that's obviously Herbert's blind side. So there's just a lot working against. And now you like bring in the matchup, and it's like Houston has been playing with pace on offense to start games, but they're also like defensively not terrible this year.
Which was surprising to hear after you dropped the nugget on Monday. It was a Monday or Tuesday. Dropped the nugget about them leading the league in missed tackles.
Yeah, so I did some more digging in that, and they do in fact lead the league in missed tackles with 31. However, they are like bottom 10 or bottom 5. I forget exactly what it was, but like in the league in yards. I think it's bottom 5 in yak allowed. So it's like, although they're missing these tackles, that's all communication and like down in the dirt, like fundamentals. There's the word. Like fundamentals. As soon as those are cleaned up, like this defense is probably not going to be very terrible. Which is interesting. They're aggressively swarming to the point of attack. They are settling into this primary, like it's like a hybrid 4-3-5 zone concept defense, and they're just settling in there and basically keeping everything in front of them and swarming. So to
be honest, I can't stop talking about how handsome Nez is.
Oh, for God's sake. Come on, man. Just because I shaved the cheeks a little bit, like, come on, man. Don't take me like that. Gonna get me all red on stream. But I will say, man, I like what Mark's what we're talking about here. I think that low key, they're not huge dogs right now. They're 5.5 point underdogs. Texans are to the Chargers, kind of like the Texans there to upset the Chargers. And in these draft lobbies where we kind of have just such like after like the first like 12 picks, it's kind of just like take your guy. I like mixing in Dameon Pierce. It just seems like the Chargers can't really get out of their own way. They clearly like Dameon Pierce. They gave him 20 carries last week, and what was obviously a less favorable matchup for them. But he's just a guy that I think should be mixed in on people's teams, just because he can get in the end zone. And as far as the running back points go, I think he can match quite a few people's ceilings this week just based off his usage.
I kind of like that. The one thing I will note on that is the fact that the Chargers were a huge run funnel last year, and it was like, we'll dare you to pass and just like let us run. And it's not shaping up that way this year. It's different. It's the inverse, which I don't know, small sample, who they've played, whatever, is this sticky year over year. But that's the only bear case I would make in that narrative. But I've been mixing in Pierce, especially when I was going heavy Chargers early, as like the run back outside of, just eating Cook's higher ADP than his, right?
Yeah.
Newbie, what do you got? Oh, sorry. Go. Yeah, Mark.
Sorry, that's an interesting I think not misnomer, but like the Chargers' run defense is just like highly underperforming right now so far.
Okay.
So they're allowing a 4.18 adjusted line yards, which is like kind of my primary measure of how deep into the second level the defensive line is allowing the opposing offensive line to push them.
Okay.
So they're allowing like 4.18, which is below league average. League average is about 4.25, but they're allowing 5.29 yards per running back carry. So wow. Running backs are really hitting them in the second level right now, which is pretty bad. They're 31st in the league in open field yards per carry. So as soon as they clean that up, I think it's going to go back to probably being this like zone heavy scheme, like we dare you to throw within the first 10 yards and then we'll swarm type thing. But right now, teams are just like gashing them on the ground.
Interesting. Yeah. Numi, got anything to add on that?
Nah, you guys hit everything. I was just making sure that I was right when I was just looking up Bosa still, or he's out for a while. So I think that's
he's done for the year. Yeah.
Because I thought I remember reading
on Slater was done for the year and Bosa wasn't, or both
Bosa's just on IR.
Okay.
Yeah. What I remember reading was basically like they're kind of only the Chargers' only thing making their defense kind of like not just generally bad was their pass rush. So now that you take away Bosa, it's kind of like, they might just be generally bad for a bit. So
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that was a great pivot talking pass rush, because the next game I wanted to talk about was the Washington-Dallas game and how my mindset has changed on that game, where it was like, okay, look at all these attempts from Wentz and look at how they're throwing the ball and this and that. And then you see Dallas come out and just eat Daniel Jones alive. And now it's just like, is this one of the best pass rushing fronts in football? Oh yeah, they're just going to get a quarterback who's renowned for holding on to the ball too long and blah, blah, blah. Are they just going to eat Wentz alive this week? Right.
Yeah. I'm super high on CD for that game. Like I am just overall I think CD's going to eat with the defensive metrics that they have. And CD is just, I mean, his metrics have been great. If I put them up, 38% or what is it? 38% target share, 42% air yard share. He's fourth in weighted opportunity rating. And then the Washington defense or pass defense is not great. So I really like CD this week.
I think Mika's he's gonna fuck his ugly ass up for sure. That's what I think. I mean, he was so disruptive last week, and then he didn't get the sack metrics all the other guys did. You don't think he's coming out to eat this week? Like he's going. They got those 1.5s beside their name in the sack column last week. I'm gonna get me mine this week. Yeah,
dude, he leads the league in pressures at 19. So 6 per game is insane.
That is wild.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That game total, I know that like we're talking about Cooper Rush and the Wentz-led Commanders. I'm a little surprised at how low that game total is. Maybe they're kind of factoring in the fact that this is a division rivalry game, and the Cowboys are obviously not going to try to keep the pace very high. But for me, I'm interested in this game, just ever so slightly, as far as, just some like one-offs or as far as some like deep plays go on this slate. I mean, the Commanders have been very pass heavy so far this season, which I'm pretty surprised about. And they've got very usable weapons, right? I mean, McLaurin hasn't even quite broke out. He might never break out just because of the, now that Curtis Samuel's healthy and looks good. Jahan Dotson's obviously there, and they're using Gibson more in the passing game. It's they've got a lot of weapons, and I'm personally not, I mean, Micah Parsons is a nightmare. He's one of the best defensive players in the league, like hands down. I'm not necessarily like that 41.5 just seems low to me. That's what I'll leave it at. And I think that there's some one-off Commanders that you can mix in this week, just because of how murky everything is this week. I would not bet against that.
You know what I would say to the one-off Commanders thing, and this is going to be so disgusting, that I think my favorite one-off Commander would either be JD McKissick or Samuel.
Okay. I was going to go Gibson.
Well, Gibson in the same thing, but we've seen a flip-flop in their kind of usage where all that pass game volume that Gibson was getting in week 1 has kind of like dissipated. And now it's been like McKissick taking up his old school role. And then I think Terry runs too far downfield for the amount of time in Wentz is going to have to throw this week. So I'm thinking, where's his deep intermittent dump off range? And to me, that's McKissick and Samuel. But that being said, I don't feel comfortable playing either in this format. Anything to add there, boys?
Well, isn't the way to attack the Cowboys running? Aren't they a run funnel technically through 3 games?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I read. So, I mean, I know like they're probably not going to do it. And again, with a Carson Wentz led offense, and they haven't been great at running. They've been extremely inefficient. So it's like they'd be better off passing, but that's the thing that gets me is like, what if Gibson just I have that narrative in my head. Robinson's coming back. He's trying to at least save his job, do a little bit something. But again, that's just narrative street. But that's just basically when you had the earlier when we're deciding the disgusting game, low total game, basically that you like a one-off or a mini stack from. This is the game that I'm pulling from. So.
Interesting. No, yeah, I like that. Mark, do you have anything to add there before I want to jump to one more game that you wrote up this morning?
Yeah, you mentioned the running back usage split between McKissick and Gibson. That's entirely game flow dependent. So in week 1 of this season, they were able to ride Gibson a little bit heavier because they were controlling the flow of that game. Weeks 2 and 3, they were kind of playing from behind against the Jags and then Philly. So I would expect there are different ways to paint that picture in lineups, both DFS and in best ball. So like you can play the one or the other card, but I would expect that Gibson is probably going to start the game, obviously seeing a higher snap rate. And it's going to depend on how effective Washington is deeper into the game. So there's very clear ways that you can play that, but the overall best way that I think the Commanders are going to look to attack this game is they know that their offensive line is like bottom 10 in run blocking metrics. I think they're like 7th worst right now. Their adjusted line yards is 3.71, so pretty low. And their running back yards per carry is at 3.1 right now. So that's 2nd worst in the league behind only the Chargers at 2.91. So
yes. I love how we just harped on loving the run environments for Eckler and Gibson.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I think those teams are dealing with is they're like, well, we can't fucking run the ball, so I guess we're just going to pass. And that's led to this more higher aggression from the Commanders. We know the Chargers are going to be top 5 in pass rate over expectation kind of year in and year out with their current setup. But that's where I think the Commanders are coming from. So if you think of it like that, if they're going to be having a lot of dropbacks, if they're going to have Micah Parsons and company bearing down on them, it's likely going to be the one-on-one coverage on the perimeter if they should break this game open, or it's going to be the chip and dunk away through Curtis Samuel, I think, in the slot. So both of those guys, because if you think about McLaurin and Jahan Dotson, who Dotson is still in the top 15 in PFF grade against man, which is insane. So as a rookie, which is man is typically what takes the longest, especially against press in transitioning at the wide receiver position from the college game to the NFL. So you think about Jahan Dotson is already top 15 PFF grade against man coverage through 4 weeks of his or 3 weeks.
It's impressive.
That could, if Diggs we know is hyper aggressive, whoever gets lined up on the right side of the formation against Diggs in that kind of X wide receiver slotting on the right side of the formation could break a long one and really break this game open. But that's
what I'm envisioning. Diggs being burnt toast. That's
the same thing on the other side of that is Micah Parsons could freaking be living in Carson Wentz's grill and Diggs jumps a route and it goes the other way for 6. So
100%. Yeah. That's the duality of the Cowboys D.
I think maybe both happen in this game. You know what I mean? Both of those things are going to happen. Let's push Mark. This is the big game of the week. Everyone's talking about it. It's pushed up so far in ADP, and it's the one that you wrote up. The Bills and Ravens first off the hop, before we get into actual plays and totals and this sort of thing, do you think the weather will play a factor in this one?
It really just depends on the wind.
Okay.
Because that's gonna limit the splash play potential, obviously, and that's primarily going to be coming from Baltimore, because Baltimore, they're like bottom 10 in plays per game, but they're just living in efficiency as they've done for the past 3 seasons. So it just so happens that with the injuries to the backfield, with the injuries to their secondary, with the injuries to their linebackers, the injuries to their offensive line, they've had to continue that pass heavy approach from the end of last year into this season. They want to be a run first team. They want to just sit back. The other part of that is Lamar Jackson has completely just owned the blitz his entire career. He has absolutely dominated the blitz. However, and we saw that against Miami where he took off for a 75-yard touchdown. We saw that. We've seen that, over his career. Buffalo has blitzed like 6% of the time, the lowest rate in the league this year. So
that was one of the really good nuggets you dropped on Monday that had me rethinking this one, where it was like Lamar's always got that rushing floor. Oh, wait, what if they just force him and play contain and make him sit in the pocket, right?
He's probably going to have a dedicated linebacker for the entirety of the game. Just
as like a spy, you mean?
Yeah. Just sitting behind the defensive line, just keeping him in the pocket. Probably playing outside leverage and forcing him inside if he does get running. But yeah, the setup is way different for the Ravens. So if it's windy, which it's kind of too early to tell because I utilize like aviation weather, which is like the weather reports.
Okay, we get it. You flew planes.
No. It's super pertinent because you get wind speed and direction down to the degree and down to like the gnat's ass mile per hour. So
I'm fully clowning because you were 100%
only
right
on this show. Only on this show, man. Where else are you getting aviation weather reports? Come on, man.
He was well. Hey, for the people watching that didn't know, Mark was 1,000% right on the forecast of the Thursday night game after we got skittish talking it up. And Mark was like, no, it's only going to last a quarter and it's going to be blowing from this direction. So I'm just clowning. Clowning. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah. So I gotta wait. Typically those reports are good like 36 hours out. Because all the stupid, whatever, it's weather bullshit. But yeah, so those will get more accurate probably this afternoon where I can start taking a peek at that. Nice. But I don't know.
Is that something you'll add in the scroll this week? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I'll put it in Discord. I usually put the weather updates in Discord. So if you're not OWS Discord, go sign up there.
There you go. Nice. Yeah. This is straight up Wheeler coming in here saying, "Yo, dude, you'll call Maverick on here." Yeah, we know.
What's up, dude?
That's good. Okay, yeah. So weather aside, now just talking. Let's throw that out the window. We're talking about this game environment now. Let's just isolate one favorite kind of piece from this game. What kind of side piece? Dude, you love it all, whatever.
Yeah. So the Ravens blitz a lot. We know that. Like it's a holdover from Wink Martindale. They promote from within. So we see a similar defensive scheme from Wink Martindale's days. So we know they're going to blitz a lot. We know they're going to be in man coverage a lot. And now they basically that used to be last year, or even as early as last year, that used to be the way to like confine Josh Allen, was like blitz him, because he had like a 59% completion rate last year. He had it was like in the 6s yards per attempt. This year he's shredding the blitz, absolutely bonkers shredding the blitz. So if he fixed or if he like schemed or is more comfortable under the blitz, if Devin Singletary is picking up the blitz better, if any of the number of variables that go along with that, whatever happened, he's dominating the blitz through 3 games. So like his yards per attempt is like 10 plus. The numbers are in the write-up, but so this is like all off the top of my head, but
no, people go read the write-up. It's a mandatory read.
It's mandatory. He's shredding the blitz, dude. So if he is shredding the blitz and Baltimore's blitzing a fuck ton, that leads me to believe that we might see a similar game plan from the game last week, against Miami, where they were blitzing a shit ton too. What did that mean? That mean like Devin Singletary saw 11 targets. That meant Isaiah McKenzie was more involved in the game plan. But now we also have to consider like Gabe Davis was a Thursday downgrade from a Wednesday limited to a Thursday DNP.
Yeah, we talked about that yesterday and how that's always a red flag when you go from limited to DNP opposed to the natural progression of DNP to LP.
Yeah, and the direct backup, who this is the entire reason why he was kept on the roster, was to fill either the X or the Z wide receiver role in Jake Kumaro. He has not practiced yet this week. So if they're left with only, and those are the only perimeter wide receivers on their roster. Then they have Isaiah McKenzie, they have Jamison Crowder, and they have rookie Khalil Shakir.
Yeah. So, well, Shakir, there was rumors last week that Shakir would flex outside if like him versus Kumaro kind of thing. They were talking about him flexing outside. So I think there is a little bit of narrative there that he could flex outside. But yeah, then again, he's, 3K on DraftKings, rookie wide receiver, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, just, keep going.
Yeah. So that leads me to believe that like they might adopt a more short area game plan, right? Over the shorter area of the field against heavy blitz. But still they have Stephon Diggs who just eats man and zone alive, both. It doesn't matter what you throw at him. He's just that good. And if like targets are basically funneled down between like an injured Dawson Knox, an injured Gabe Davis, or no Gabe Davis, no Kumaro, if we're starting to see a condensed like tree, like there are, in my mind, there are far fewer paths to this game failing than there were last week with Buffalo and Miami. So
okay. Yeah, I like that.
Kind of how the injuries on both sides, like Buffalo brought in a corner who then immediately got injured and is not going to play. Baltimore is dealing with like Marcus Peters coming back from ACL. They have like all these injuries already on their secondary. Their linebacker core is fucked up. Their nose tackle, Michael Pierce, is out for the season now. And he's like been a top 3 nose tackle in the NFL. And he's played behind Brandon Williams for like 5 years. He has like all this experience and he's like one of the best run stoppers in the game. It's like they just have all these injuries, dude.
I'm not like I don't like to like put too much weight on teams like defensive metrics because those are, as most of us know, those are pretty noisy metrics. But I do think that there's something to be said about the fact that the Ravens have just been getting carved up over in the air. So the blitzing on Josh, I'm like you said, he's been killing the blitz this year. I am personally very bullish on this game and particularly Stephon Diggs, just because like Davis, we have a green tag on Davis now on UnderDAWGS saying that he's playing and that he's active, which is great. But
limited today is what the practice report came in as. So he went LP, NP or DNP, LP again. So
and he says he's going to play. I wonder if he's going to. It seemed like he was a little bit more of a decoy last week whenever he was on the field. They played a ton of snaps. I mean, obviously
90 offensive plays.
I mean, Gabe Davis obviously has like huge like explosive potential, but I'm just a little concerned about like how healthy he is. So I mean, Diggs and McKenzie for me have been like my go-to in these drafts with these teams because the biggest thing for me is like how's the weather, and so far we don't have a good lean. We're just gonna wait, but I'm not really concerned about Josh Allen being bottled up here.
Let's see if we can get an update on that weather right now.
Oh, here we go. This is why we pay him the big bucks. There you go.
Check the Doppler.
We bring on Herzig. We bring on Herzig the other day. He's building models on stream. We bring on Mark today, and he's just like, yeah, man, I'm just gonna tap into that aviation guide I got here. He starts like spinning some fucking dials. He sees where it's blowing. It just oh, it's good. Yo, I don't think there's any isolated games. We kind of took half an hour there. I don't think there's any isolated games that I really want to harp on outside of those game environments. The weather news will be great. Let's just jump right into the favorite segment of the week. We're just going to jump in here and tell everybody our favorite plays, and just run it from the top. New me, my man, you've been quiet for a minute. You got a favorite expensive 2-man stack for me?
If so, I'll just name off basically my favorite, if I can get it, is Andrews plus any of the top bills.
Okay.
And then according to my exposures, my combos right now, it would be for like that would fall into this like top 3 round category would be Devontae Adams and Jonathan Taylor. That's my highest combo. Otherwise, I've been kind of spreading it, and it's just been a Mark Andrews click for me every time. So
nice. Okay, so we talked about this early in the week. Are you clicking Mark Andrews over the quarterbacks right now?
Yes.
Interesting. Okay, so Mark Andrews 101 positional advantage, ADP advantage.
I'll go through if you just. It's everyone can look at the reasoning for it, but I can just simply tell it's the fact that like he is a wide receiver with a tight end eligibility in this contest. Like, he has a number 1 true wide receiver ADOT of 11.7, 39% target share, 40% air yard share. And not only does he lead tight ends, he leads the entire NFL in weighted opportunity rating. So like,
wow. Yeah.
Like it's just
I think that matters.
I understand the quarterback floors, and I understand I can get buried when Josh Allen goes out there, but I feel like I can also bury every other team that doesn't have a tight end put up anything close to what Mark Andrews does. And there's no tight end he's running a route 60. So he's ran a route 90% of dropbacks. I like that. I enjoy that from a tight end position. So yeah, I just, for me, I understand everything coming out it, but it's Mark Andrews 1-1, 1-2, 1-3. Once I start getting more entries, I might start mixing it up, but yeah, it's been Mark Andrews every time.
No, I like that. Nez, who are you leaning towards, man?
So this is like kind of tough because I don't feel like there's any like expensive stacks necessarily like on the slate today or on the slate this Sunday.
I would say it's Hurts and AJ Brown is the only natural pairing that you can kind of get with consistency.
Right. Yeah. As far as like QB wide receiver goes, that's definitely like my favorite achievable stack to grab those two. I still like this total has gone down, I think, by like 3 points, but I still like the game environment with Cleveland and Atlanta. I know you guys are big Kareem Hunt guys this week, but I still think Chubb has a chance to be the top running back this week, given the slate. And pairing Chubb with Kyle Pitts and or Drake London is something that I'm really intrigued in, or flipping the roles there, getting Cordarrelle Patterson with Amari Cooper, to me is something that I am very, very much interested in this week.
No, I like that for sure. I soured a little bit on that game environment when I was reading the Edge and just talking about the pace of play of that game, where it's like, what are the Browns going to want to do? The Browns are going to want to run the damn ball. That's what they do, right? What does Atlanta do? Well, they play slow. And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, now we're just chewing clock and this game's won by a field goal on either side. And it's 20-20 and someone kicks a game-winning field goal. You know what I mean? And like, is that enough value there? And probably, maybe, I don't know. It's relative to the rest of the slate, but I think I've soured a little bit on that game environment. I had that exact same line of thinking as you. And then now I'm kind of wavering. I don't know. Can you talk me off that ledge?
I mean, for me, it's just the concentration of these offenses. Like we have a very, very decent idea of where the ball is going, and and Njoku's healthy. He has a green tag now. Cooper's healthy. I like those two. It really just depends on these offenses not like tripping over their own feet and keeping things going. Just because we have a very decent idea of who's getting the rock, and hearing that Patterson is playing has me like very, very intrigued right now. Because I was a little concerned with that DNP that he had late this week. So for me, it's just being able to project.
Where'd you hear the definitive playing? I didn't see that one yet.
Oh, I guess I made that up. What it said
we
was
can make things up. That's what we're here
Patterson
to do,
will be listed as questionable, but believes he will play. So they're saying that the dude thinks he's going to play, and I believe him.
No, I like that. I mean, it was weird because he had the same thing as what we just talked about Gabe Davis, where he went from limited participant to then being a DNP and then came back.
Yeah, it was weird. But just seeing a couple guys do that this week, I'm just like, okay, maybe it's a new trend. I'll buy in. I'll buy in.
You know what's weird about it is like the rest days and the vet rest days. I think teams are getting sharper as like the season goes to just be like, yeah, we're just mixing these things like the way NBA slates go, right? I don't know. That's just my thought process.
Yeah. I think that teams aren't so just like streamlined anymore of just like, having to do things a certain way. If a guy is tired today, like screw it. Like give him a full rest day, especially the veterans.
Yeah. Like he's a 30-year-old running back or whatever. He might be older.
31, dude.
31. Yeah. He's a 31-year-old running back.
Man. He's a big boy.
Yeah,
let him a day. Let him sit.
Yeah. We know he's our guy. Yeah. Give Algier a couple more carries with the ones and see what it looks like. Mr. Weatherman down there, did you find anything for us?
So the weather report is it's the only one that is up to date for Sunday, 2 days out from right now is calling for like 12 knots of wind, which is like 14-ish miles per hour. So not very troublesome, but it's a little bit less gnat's ass. So I need more fidelity, I think.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what any of those fucking words mean, Mark. So thanks for that, man.
It's not accurate yet. There.
No, last week I said
I love it. We're only calling wind. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. The last week I said the magic number for wind change patterns and it affecting the football moving was 18 to 22 miles per hour. Am I an idiot or is that close?
I used 25.
Okay. So I'm dumb.
Just because, no, not at all. I just used 25 as the cutoff because, and obviously, like this goes without saying, rain, snow, weird field conditions, all that stuff doesn't really matter as much because the defense who is reacting to the offense has to deal with the same conditions. It's the wind stuff because that affects deep passing, that affects passing 15 yards plus down the field where I start to pay attention. And I just like to use 25 because I feel like the threshold for the field is to look at like 18 to 20 miles per hour as like this big stay away. And I like to bump that out because I think the field overreacts to those types of wind conditions.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's good. And I think that's exactly what we did on Monday night or on Thursday night of last week. Like we overreacted to the fact that it was in that 18 to 22 range. And we were like, oh yeah, forget this Thursday night dust bag game with Mitch Trubisky. That wind's not going to iron out his ball and make it go straight. Like we're out on this. Let's just draft Russell Wilson. And that did wonders for my bankroll. So
I think we should only talk about wind in terms of knots now on this show. So as far as our danger zone, we're talking 21 knots of wind. So close when you get 22 knots, man, forget about it. And everybody else, you just, if you know, you know. That's how we're doing, man.
You know what, Nez?
We're building a brand.
You know what, Nez? I'm not gonna do that. You know?
Oh
my God. Can we? We're going to have to overthrow you, man.
He kicked himself off.
Right.
We don't even have a producer anymore, so I don't even know what we're supposed to do. We're just stuck on this screen.
So next up, we've got the cheap two mans. Hey guys, I'm your host here, Jay Warner.
All right, yeah, let's do it. Let's do the cheap two mans right here. So actually, Mark didn't give us an expensive two-man that he likes. Yeah. Is there an expensive two-man? Let's do these rapid fire so we can get some drafts in.
Yeah, it's Buffalo. It's Allen and Diggs, but you can't really do that. So I mean, I think my 1.01 in this format is Mark Andrews just for the positional scarcity. He can't be touched by anybody else in his range this week. So the only reason you draft like a tight end early is to be able to put the slate out of reach at the position. And because there's only one that can do that this week, which is Mark Andrews, and we're talking like 35 plus point games within their range of outcomes, it's him or nobody. And if you side on the or nobody, which is going to be a majority of your rosters, frankly, because Mark Andrews is a first round pick, but or nobody means that I'm betting on this player matching Mark Andrews. You don't need him to beat him because of where he's going in ADP or salary for DFS. You're just saying like, I need him to match him. And that's like I need him to score a touchdown, and Mark Andrews only scores one. So, but yeah, it's like Mark Andrews. Yeah. Anyway, I digress.
No. I like that for sure. That's That's good. I was gonna scroll down a little further, and I was gonna talk about my boy Austin Eckler again because I'm just going back to that well over and over. But I've been talked off the ledge. I've been talked off the ledge.
Talk to your wall.
Yeah, there we go. Right? Yeah. Okay, Numi, my man. Favorite 2-man stack. What are you seeing this week?
Yeah, I'll just go
cheap 2-man. Sorry.
Yeah, so I'll just go either Hunt and then one of the three, either one of the three Falcons and CPAT, London or Pitts. I
love it.
And then I also again just love CD Lamb too much. Again, I know he's probably not like in the cheap, but then I'll have to look into it more. I've been doing some CD Gibson, so I'll probably have to mix in some McKissick. But yeah, it's been mine.
Yeah, I mean, CD, like that target share versus a pass funnel, like I'll take my chances too, right? Even as just a one-off, right? You give me double-digit targets.
Yeah, it doesn't even need to be
from an elite wide receiver against a pass funnel. Let's go, wheels up. Yeah, I like that call. I like that shout. Nez, what are you looking at for cheap 2-mans?
I think my favorite right now, as far as the cheap guys goes, is looking at the Denver and Raiders game. We just talked about Mark Andrews being like, hey, if you don't have him, like you might be dust. Probably true, but I think one person that has a chance to match him is of course Darren Waller. I think Renfro is doubtful, not expected to play, so that opens things up for Waller there. And I do think that there's a chance. Like both of these teams are very much underachieving, right? I mean, the Raiders, we thought they would be one of the best scoring team, highest scoring offenses in the league, and same with the Broncos, right? I mean, we were obviously all very excited, and I'm not ready to completely jump ship.
James, I'm not sure it's dating.
Ooh, yeah.
I find it funny how it's the sex bots that only get the emojis to come through half the time. Yeah, I can't get other people's emojis. They show up as like
we've made it. We've made it when the sex bots. This is 3 days in a row. We got the sex bots about 40 minutes in. And it's not by coincidence. It's always when Nez is talking.
Oh, for God's sake! I'm going no cam from now on. It's just going to be the gray silhouette of just.
Then it's just ASMR at that point.
I'm tired of being objectified. I contain multitudes. Okay,
I love it.
But no, that Raiders Broncos game I think has shootout potential. I think we need to I've been giving Russ the benefit of the doubt. I might give him like maybe one more week if he looks like shit again. But like there's something to the fact that it's a brand new team and maybe give them a chance to like figure it out. And maybe Nathaniel Hackett can bump his head in a way that like makes him be able to coach football in a competent way. That would be great. But that's my take. Not happening.
No.
Just like a rookie of the year thing where he just like falls and like bangs his head and like we should throw the ball more. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's good. Well,
I tweeted last night in the game that like Zach Taylor should be fired if he ends another football game with a greater than 10% first down power run rate. It's like, stop doing this.
Establish Joe Mixon. What are we talking about?
Cement
feet Joe Mixon.
He looks like
trash. 2nd and 8 is way better than 1st and 10, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? Holy shit. Old school football guy.
Mike Zimmer's offense. Goodness.
Yeah. I want to harp on the fact that you guys just took 2 of my favorites there, but one of the things that I would say with Nez with that one is I really like Javonte Williams because I think he's game script proof. I think he's the trailing running back there, and I think he's getting those high volume touches. Like he dropped that goal line one, but I think like just like Javonte's workload so far, we'd be talking about him very differently if he found the end zone once or twice. And it got, everyone's kind of soured on him right now, but I understand the split. I understand the offense is terrible. We're talking about some deep plays here, and I'm just going to bet on some talent in that game environment as a run back off of Waller or Adams, right?
I dig that.
I'm not putting 70% of my exposure on him. I'm not building zero RB teams with 70%. I'm just saying, hey, let's throw one in there.
He has to. He's interesting just because he has to kind of like. He has to go against like Melvin Gordon and his coaching, but everybody knows that, right? So everybody's like afraid to click him. So he's a guy whose talent can absolutely like burst through, put up 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Like it wouldn't surprise me just because of how good he is. So I like that play.
Yeah, that defensive line versus offensive line metric looks kind of bad right now too, but that's exactly the same shit we said last week about Henry versus the Raiders, right? Like we said the exact same narrative, and then look what Henry did. Granted, very different players and very different run styles and whatever, but just a noteworthy point in my IMO, right?
Yeah, in my IMO.
And in my IMO. Mark, what do you like as a cheap backstack, 2 late guys? What are you looking at?
You ready to vomit, dude?
Oh yes, please tell me.
I got my garbage bag
fucking ready
here,
to draft them. Let's go.
Najee Harris, Elijah Moore.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that's not even
I have some Najee.
All right.
We've been on the other
I
side.
like it. I like that a lot.
We've been talking up the other side of it. We've been talking up the Breece Hall and Deontay Johnson, and Deontay Johnson going against a pass funnel, and then Breece Hall being like the negative script passing work guy on the other side. So you flip the narrative on us. You go, Zach Wilson's back. You go, Elijah can ball out with Zach back, 6+ targets coming his way. Okay. Yeah, that's cool. So give me some more. Sell me a little bit more.
Najee started the season with a 59% snap rate and then bumped it up to 71% in week 2. That jumped to 80% in week 3. So he's slowly, I think the experiment of like, we don't want to feed this guy the workload that we fed him last season. I think it's like, as the Steelers continue to suck more and more and more, and Mike Tomlin sees his job security getting less and less and less, he's like, fuck it. Let's just give him the ball because he's the best we got, kind of thing.
Because we're the Steelers, and that's what we do. We draft running backs, and then we feed them.
Yeah.
We keep the same coach for 30 years. Yeah.
So if he is going to see that kind of workload in that matchup, like we could be talking about like a 25-28 running back opportunity game against the Jets. And that's like, okay, he's going in the 5th round in these drafts, something like that.
Sometimes undrafted.
Undrafted, yeah.
A lot of times I've seen
he's
it
going
undrafted.
Najee's ADP is 30.5, and according to friend of the show Justin Herzig's spreadsheet, calculate on the side here, and sometimes that means he goes undrafted.
Cool. 6 sound effects too, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna need to clip that, and that's gonna be every time we need to do something. Just
every time John has to think.
We'd be playing that shit a lot.
Oh my god, people be joining the stream just hearing that. Like, what is going on? Like, I'm thinking again. Don't worry, we'll get there.
And then you can also throw in Garrett Wilson in there. But I think like the Elijah Moore angle is interesting this week because of everything that is changing.
Right.
Wilson coming back, a little squeaky wheel in there. Let's go.
I feel like people are really, really not going to want to click his name to draft or insert him into DFS lineups. It's like, well, last year it was Flacco that made Elijah Moore a thing, like after Zach Wilson got hurt, and he didn't do it this year because Garrett Wilson is like the new hog. Like the sample size is so low on those two situations. It's like, okay, he got like 4 games with Flacco last year. He got 2 games with Flacco this year. Like maybe there's a little bit more to this. So I don't know. Garrett Wilson hasn't played a single NFL snap with his new quarterback for this week.
That's a great point. Like like such a simplistic, organic, like sometimes we get so far deep in the weeds that we just forget like just a simplistic ass fact like that from a bro narrative. It's like, man, these guys have never played a snap together. Like that matters. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just an interesting way to attack that game because we know that Pittsburgh like runs the least amount of offensive plays per game in the NFL, and we know that the Jets play with pace. So like there could be the opportunity for some additional offensive plays to be run from scrimmage. We could see as much as like 1 or 2 additional entire possessions from that game. So that directly correlates to volume. That directly correlates to like this whole narrative of like maybe Najee is going back to like his workhorse ways. Maybe Elijah Moore is going to be better with Zach Wilson at quarterback. So I don't know. It's just like a bunch of conjecture, but it like costs nothing. So
yeah.
I like that.
Nez loves that. Nez just quickly letting Pete and Pat and everyone know of all this great info of his main event team. He's like, guys.
I did a shit chasing draft, Mark, with Pete and them, and we got Eckler at like pick 8, and then on the way back, Najee fell to us, and I advocated for Najee there. So we're like the only robust team that they have in the main event, and
nice.
1-2 right now. But I need that. I need any positive Najee I can get.
Yeah, there you go. It might be coming. Hold tight.
All right,
Hold.
I like it. You guys, I like the plays that you guys are isolating here. I like me some TJ Hawkinson as a direct pivot off the fact that Amon-Ra's out in the slot and tight end is thin this week, and that secondary is dog shit in Seattle. I like him as kind of like a one-off, and then I love me some Devin Singletary leverage off of the best game environment on the slate. Maybe he falls into the end zone a couple times, or maybe we see exactly what we saw last week where he ends up with 11 targets or whatever because the pass rush and the blitz rate of the Ravens is getting there and he becomes dump off city instead of, Crowder or Isaiah McKenzie in the slot. So I like those two guys as late, deep dart throw, 2-man pivots, whatever the fuck we're calling these things. Favorite late guys there, whatever that is.
I also like Dobbins as well.
That's an interesting one.
Like I don't like it's not a love. It's just
of course.
That's an interesting play that I've worked in my last draft that I just did this morning. So
yeah, the Dobbins bet is effectively making the same bet just on the other side,
yes,
right?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, and we know the ceiling talent of Dobbins exists absolutely, right? But then the other thing that's interesting about Dobbins that I'll say is the coach speak coming on Justice Hill.
Yeah,
I know how they're how they're hyping him up, and then all of a sudden Justice Hill, they go Kenyon Drake's inactive last week, and then Justice Hill plays more snaps than Dobbins, and sure, he's working his way back from multiple bad injuries. We get it, he's going to be slowly in there, but the whole Hill narrative is very interesting. Okay, but let's jump in some drafts in a second here. Oh, let's go quick on these two. Let's go quick on two. Let's go favorite player going undrafted. Just one name around the horn, one name without even we're talking
no
30 or 36, 35 and a half, whatever you guys want to say, way deep. Kind of like a shout out to our boy Nez, the Mac Hollins of this week, for instance.
Yeah, where's Khalil Herbert been all week?
Khalil Herbert is pushing up. He's 33 now.
He was being drafted.
32
I will
and a
say
half.
He was being drafted as if Montgomery was not doubtful. People were scared that Montgomery might play. He was really way too cheap all week. How do you feel about him now that Montgomery's out? I mean, are you like everybody else bullish, or do you think that maybe that could be fool's gold this week?
I think he's a better pure rusher than David Montgomery is. Obviously, David Montgomery is the more complete back, but I think from has a chance in 0.5 PPR to rip 102. He probably is in that conversation for sure.
Yeah, I love him.
Yeah.
Love him as a player and as a play this week.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite undrafted pick this week, I'm just going to go ahead and jump in here. I gave you guys Breece Hall yesterday. I still think Breece Hall is going to get in the end zone against the Steelers. I like Josh Reynolds too. Now that Amon-Ra's out, I think Josh Reynolds has shown some connection there with Goff, dating back to not during his Rams days, but since he's been on the Lions, he's had a little bit of a connection there. So I like him this week as a one-off.
Mm-hmm. No, I like that shout for sure. Basically, for all the exact same reasons that I was kind of leaning towards Hawkinson, right? The whole narrative fits
exactly
there, but then he has some explosive potential by he lines up outside, right?
Yeah.
I like that call. Numi, you got a name for me, bud?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out if this guy practiced today.
Sneaky. I like it. This is sneaky.
And it's mainly, and this is gross. This is just gross. And it's only because this game has slowly I've been seeing people reading about it, and it's the Philly and Jacksonville game.
Mm-hmm.
But it was Zay Jones, but the fact that he wasn't practicing, he's just questionable. So Marvin Jones. And I know it's, again, gross, but I mean, I'm fairly certain that if you're gonna beat or try and stay with Philly, you're not. Well, one, you can't run against Philly. You're not going to be able. Well, I think actually you can if I was reading right, but they're not going to be
last year. You couldn't.
Yeah, they're not
going
to. I think actually you can do it. You can do it this year. What I was reading, but either way, with Philly, it's going to be hard to stay up with them if you're just trying to ball control and do that when that's Philly's get. You know what I mean? So I like one of those two receivers. And also, I will say Evan and Ingram. So basically, three people. Any one of those like kind of ancillary Jags pieces.
I know.
You know what? I'll just say anyone on the Jags. I like James Robinson too. I like James Robinson too, and I think that's where I got the Eagles. Mark, you probably know this more off of me. I was just reading, but about the Eagles' run defense. But I thought you can beat them there. It's just I don't know if they will try to beat them on the run. I could be way off.
Yeah, they're who was their longtime fucking nose tackle? Fletcher Cox. Yeah, he's gone.
Yep.
So yeah, they're allowing 4.98 running back yards per carry this year, which is above average, like worse than league average. That's all I got.
So that's it's not like it's great. Yeah, basically, if I'm looking at the Eagles' run defense for like expected points per rush, 28th, rush success 27th, run grade 18 versus their pass defense, which you get 3.939. So it's like if you're I guess going to attack them, but then you get Jacksonville, who
Fletcher Cox is still there. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay, I thought was he hurt or not playing? Because I don't know if he was playing with the Vikings, or maybe he just didn't hear him. But
it should be there.
But I mean, yeah, they're going to try and pass with Trevor Lawrence. I just see. I like those guys. I like those guys as kind of like ancillary, maybe one-offs, or maybe put them in with your, again, long tangent with your Philly stacks or something like that.
You can get different late with Lawrence, right? Like you can do a little stack with Lawrence late, because anyone who takes Kirk and runs out of quarterback options, their default is to kind of fall back on Lawrence as like a mini game stack there. So it'd be interesting to plan your team around building a game stack in that environment, but build it with the intentions of taking Lawrence with a different correlation pattern. In that same vein, like one of the names you didn't bring up is ATN. And I mean, like, I don't know, like, are we just crediting, like, Robinson's usage has been really nice, but are we just like throwing that narrative away already? Like, I don't know, maybe he's that piece this year in a trailing script where he's the pass catching guy who's got that rapport.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, ETN. So he still leads in target share this year, but in the last 3 games, it's went from 40 for his route participation, 49 to 45 to 35. And it could be game script, but it's just it's gone down, and Robinson has gone up, and like his route run is spiked from to 52% in week 2, and he maintained that to 53 in week 3. So it's like not only is he getting the bulk of the carries, they're also liking him in the pass game and dumping off to him. So, and it's just, again. And so
that was after he caught that touchdown too. Like he caught that touchdown in week 1 that ATN blatantly dropped. And then it's kind of been like, oh wait, he can catch too. Let's just keep rolling with that. So, Mark, how about a late two game or 2 man and late, what was I doing? Late one-off target?
Favorite
undrafted. Yeah, there we go.
Undrafted. I like the Josh Reynolds call in Detroit. I think that's interesting. Where is? See, I don't know because I haven't been in these fucking streets.
Yeah, that's fine. Just throw out a name that you like.
Yeah.
I'll tell you whether you're an idiot or not.
All right, cool. Probably an idiot.
The guy talking about knots on the stream is an idiot.
I don't know where DJ Moore has been being drafted.
He fits this build perfectly. He's barely got an ADP. He's a premier talent that's going up. I like that a lot.
That's probably, I would say, dude. He's just everyone's shitting on him from every walk of life right now. In DFS, in best ball, but he has too much talent and too long of a track record to be bad at football. It's gonna pop at some point.
It's the Brandon Cooks narrative, right? Where it's just like, yeah, man, this guy just puts up 1K every single year, regardless of who his quarterback is, regardless of whatever. Like, we're gonna find it, right?
But is he Baker Mayfield proof? No, that's like the question
that's
right
the
now.
Question.
He's been QB proof, but then is he Baker Mayfield proof?
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I love the call. Like, I love that. I think that game is just weirdly going overlooked, although I know how bad the Cardinals are. Don't get me wrong. I know how just blatantly bad they are. It's just it wouldn't shock me if all of a sudden we're looking and that game is just almost shootout type. Not, like a straight shootout game that we expect, but for the games on the slate, just one of the higher scoring games on the slate.
Carolina's been like sneaky good at defense, and it's been pissing me off because that's caused Matt Rule to like go into a shell offensively, and it's like,
exactly,
what are we doing?
I saw a tweet that Matt Rule has lost the locker room. And it was like, someone's like, I hope Matt Rule has lost his playbook too. And I was just like,
that's nice. Did Matt Rule ever have the playbook? Like, this guy is that shit.
Oh yeah.
Okay, let's hop in some drafts. I got a couple things. It's my turn to talk now, boys. This is again. I'm gonna keep us on rails here. Is this a Julio Rodriguez jersey? Very important question that all three of you neglected to ask. It is not. This is a Mitch Haniger, friend of the show, Mitch Haniger. Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, you got
friend of the show, Mitch Haniger went to Cal Poly with one of my boys, and by friend of the show, I mean we had one beer one time together after a game.
He counted.
Friend of the show, baby.
Oh yeah, my good buddy Mitch Haniger.
Yeah. Friend of the shows.
Yeah, and friend of the show, right? Yeah, and then Haniger buried me last night too. I finished 4th in the MLB.
I saw that, brother.
I was like 4th, 8th, and 10th.
We just
something
lost
in the
like
MLB.
10 viewers right there,
and it was just like Haniger goes the top 3 slots for all Haniger lineups, and that's on me for not playing my boy. But good pivot to playing my boy over here. How do we feel about this as a little run back? We have been talking about this game environment all weekend. We've been talking about the Seattle-Detroit game environment, how it could push shootout, how it could push. We were talking narratives of how all these like auxiliary pass catchers can get home. We were talking up Amon-Ra early in the week. Now he's out. We were talking up maybe Swift, like Herzig was saying, get some leverage with Swift. Now most likely Swift's not going to play. What if this script just gets flipped on its head? They march down the field twice early against a bad Lions defense, and Rashad punches it in twice, and Rashad's the piece you need, and then the run back you need off that is, whether it's probably maybe not Jamal in that script, but maybe it's, Hawkinson or Reynolds or guys that you've put out there. Just one that I'm thinking through there with Penny, just kind of, we assumed he was this talent. We assumed he was, the first round draft capital was coming to fruition. It was his backfield. Sneaky Travis Homer got injured, and then DJ Dallas came in and played the 3rd down snaps. And it was kind of like, okay, maybe DJ Dallas is just kind of dust, and maybe that 3rd down rule shifts this week. And I don't know, just throwing it out there, just throwing it out there.
Yeah, big fan.
I like that a lot, sir.
Yeah,
I just wrote that up in the end around. I've been writing it as we speak. Well, not as during the show, but leading up to the show.
The resounding disrespect for this program.
I was like, wait, what am I saying? No, I'm not writing it right now. I wrote it before.
Turn of phrase. Yeah.
No, dude. Because Jamal Williams is like mega chalk on DFS this year.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, dude, Rashad Penny and Josh Reynolds, mini correlation is just gonna bring all the leverage.
Yeah, I'd love to see that. I love that idea.
Yeah, I think we just got to wait a little bit for Ken Walker to really eat into that snap share. It seems.
Yeah, he was back up to 69% last week. So if he's gonna play at 69%, and if Seattle controls the game environment, it's probably gonna flip the script on the Seahawks didn't pass because Russ is actually trash thing. It's been going around right now. It's probably truth is kind of somewhere in between there.
Yeah. I think, I love that. If there's any chance, if there's a spot for him to break out, it's against the Lions. So it's going to be against this, we're talking run funnels. Yikes. Yeah. This is just everything funnel on this defense, really. So
not Jamar Chase though. Not a Jamar Chase funnel. I'll tell you that.
Who?
Or Justin Jefferson. I forget. I'm not.
He hates him so much. Now he's Jamar Chase.
I'm not even respecting his name.
Oh God. If you were Hayes and LSU wideout, you got it. You got to go close.
What do we got here?
Both a little on. All right. What up, Chad?
Chad talking swaps on Amon-Ra.
I I just want to say, I thought that Herzig comment about the swaps may have been something that I never just thought about, and maybe one of if people don't, I'm going to start utilizing that every week. The whole the concept of getting that player with a Q tag and then almost wanting him to be out. So then you get that swap for Sunday and then
you guys never noticed that I did that every damn day in baseball, eh?
And it's way different in football when you have
I agree.
When you have 4 or 5 days or 3, 4 to 5 days to wait.
We're on the clock here. Who do you guys like?
I didn't even know
we're
drafting.
Yeah, I didn't even know we were in a draft. I thought Andrews. Let's go back. No, just kidding.
Diggs, bro. Diggs.
Bro. I don't want a quarterback, dude. I'm literally fading all these quarterbacks.
Okay, I like it. All right, keep going to me.
No, it's the fact that most people are like, okay, yeah, we want him to be in there. You get him late, but drafting him at any point and then getting the most up-to-date information about the slate you possibly can. And then if you think back to these people aren't drafting Herbert back then. Now you're getting a potential now that Montgomery's out. It'll be a little bit different, but you're getting information you get to choose someone that wasn't being drafted and you can make that call and now get even more leverage. And it's just, man, that I was thinking about that on my drive home for about an hour of just the fact that I never thought about that.
Yeah.
That is genius. And it works more so towards these football when you have days and days. For baseball, of course it makes sense, but
Let me layer it one more on you. Let's say we get McCaffrey out as well, right?
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden you can get so weird with that late swap because it's afternoon window game. Oh, we're on the clock again.
Barkley.
It's
that's my choice.
I don't think there's much
right.
Of a,
yeah, that
I don't think there's a conversation
that's a snap
here.
Click.
Yeah,
that's a snap click.
Crazy.
Well, we were talking about Nick Chubb.
No, you don't like him this week?
I was just kidding. I wanted to just throw something in there. It was too easy.
He's I'll give you squeaky, or I'll give you a bear case narrative right here. He's
some news
night.
that just came out. Sorry, good with that. If you want to go down
there. There's no.
Keenan Allen's out. Just declared out. DJ Chark is questionable. And Amon-Ra is obviously out. Swift obviously out.
Josh Reynolds is questionable too.
He's playing.
And Zay Jones is questionable. Okay, yeah, he's playing. I forgot you talked to him.
Yo, he put on the Nez filter. And he's like, yo, bad news about Chark. That pushes my narrative. All right, here we go. I'm going to share that. And then it's like, oh, no, my guy's questionable. No. He's playing.
He's playing.
He's in there. I talked to Josh.
Mark, who do you like here? We got
probably
Cooper,
Darian.
Who?
Probably CD.
You don't know his government name.
Yeah, I don't. I just look at spreadsheets and click names.
Oh, come on, Mr. Anti-projection.
You
ain't looking at anything.
I'm not anti-projection. I'm
Yo, how about let's
treating them as scripture.
The Giants are pretty thin, eh?
Yeah, that was my late
out, Kadarius out.
My late shout was Richie James, him or Penny, and those two. Like Richie James is probably gonna get steamed and be chalk in DFS cash.
Does that help or hurt Saquon? Do you think having all of these guys out, does that just make them focus, or do you think it? Okay.
Because he's in a route at such an elite rate that he's probably just going to get more of those looks now.
Yeah.
All right, we're okay. We got Saquon, Diggs, Lamb. This is kind of a shit mix of a draft, boys. We haven't painted.
This is what the drafts look like.
Gabe Davis as our piece there. Do you want to go double? You're fine going
naked
double Buffalo wide receivers without the pass catcher.
No.
Or without the passer? Yeah. Okay.
Good, Waller. That's fine.
Yeah. We'll go elite tight end there, and we'll find something else good on the way back or later.
When it's a Steph Diggs, Gabe Davis naked with no quarterback that wins this, we're just gonna be coming back to this clip.
Yeah, right.
Be like,
look
at those idiots.
There's some offenses where you could do that, but they have to be like, you probably need 55 plus combined team target market share out of the two pass catchers.
Yeah.
to do that. Just thinking off the top of my head, like what that would look like. But so you probably can. I don't think Buffalo is probably the team to do it because Gabe Davis is not getting volume. If he succeeds, it's through touchdowns, and that's like directly
efficiency.
Correlated. Yeah, directly correlated to his quarterback. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like that shout. I got my eyes on a player right here, and I think you guys can all know exactly which player it is. But we have to
Aaron Rodgers.
We have to think about quarterback and what we're going to do. And currently, my eyes go here, and then either Russ or Carr, and that's our one mini, and then we get a skinny back. Do you guys?
What if we do Najee?
Najee,
and then just get Carr.
Sure. You guys like that?
I don't.
I'd go.
Okay.
I'd rather keep Sutton. I think. We really have to think about like who we got to beat. I think, and to me, it's like there's gonna be some Allen Diggs teams, and it's gonna piss us off. There's going to be Jackson and Andrews teams, and it's going to piss us off. And I think we have to think about how we're going to beat these teams. And the way that we're saying we're going to beat them now is like, oh, well, this game's a shootout, and we're capitalizing on it. And
right. Yeah, I think. Go ahead, Mark.
I think from a macro theory perspective, based on the state of the NFL game, I think you can almost like, to maximize EV and profitability, you can just almost say, I will never draft 2 running backs and I will never draft 2 tight ends on a roster in this format.
Herzig said he didn't mind 2 tight ends when we were talking to him the other day. And I was kind of surprised by that because I thought he'd share your same line of thinking.
Yeah, just like theoretically what you're doing or what you're saying by drafting a top tight end is like they are putting this slate out of reach. Like, and then like no one can catch them. And based on like route participation across the league at tight end position, the state of tight ends, how they're being utilized, like who are the tight ends that can put up 35 plus points? It's probably like Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, and probably
maybe Pitts or Waller.
Not even, dude. I don't think that they carry that upside. Like you can maybe throw.
Last spot here. Do we want Carr, Wilson, or Rush?
I lean Russ.
Russ, yeah.
I thought I heard Rush first, and I went, "Oh gosh."
Yeah, right. Yeah. We got to be careful when we got Cooper on in the queue.
I was like, okay, I'm just well off of the whole train right now.
I will say on certain slates, I am like the resident 2 running back drafter in this group.
This is the slate to do it, IMO. Like,
yeah, I agree with
that.
You,
that's why I thought like I've been going towards more 2 running backs. I think it's not much because I'm still gospel 3 wide out. I think, but like I've been more advantageous to mix in that 2 running back. Simply because of all of the star wideouts are there. But I get that it doesn't have to be a star wideout that gets you there, but it's just with them not being there, it just seems so tough for someone it was 7,000 entries, you know what I mean? Like someone will have that combo, but
look at it from like the perspective of opportunity share. And how many running backs are there in the NFL now that are getting enough workload to be able to, say, break 30 points in half PPR?
Yep,
like
that's true.
5, 6, maybe.
Right.
And where like now we're seeing it more spread out to where you can get access to a running back like Najee Harris, who has that within his range of outcomes, like in the 5th, 6th round, in speaking to this format. And if you look at like the constraints or I guess the variance associated with each position in the NFL, like tight end is like lower variance amongst the elite. And then it's like the highest variance position outside of the elite because it's so tied to touchdowns.
Right.
Then it's like wide receiver is the next on the docket for variance at the position or in the scope of the game of football, because of the splash play potential. And
are we taking our boy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For all the reasons Mark is just discussing right now, we are going to take Mandrews.
Yeah. And that's not always going to work out. And you need to like leverage your exposures obviously and shit. But like when on a slate like this, I guess the third tight end or the fourth tight end, I think third, that can put up like 35, 40 point games is probably George Kittle, but that's going to happen maybe once, maybe twice a year. And that's just because his utilization is so much lower now because he's such an elite run blocker. But like in the right environments, like George Kittle can break the slate and put it out of reach. So like if you think about like what you're saying by not taking an elite tight end, and on this slate, there's only one that can do that, like put the slate out of reach, arguably. You're saying just like the other guys will score a touchdown and put up like 4 catches for 60 yards and match him.
Right.
And then I get access to the higher upside of the other positions.
Yeah.
At the running back position, it's like so much of running back value is just tied to volume. It's like who's getting enough volume to be able to put up these massive scores.
To matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
and that's why Jamal Williams and Herbert are big picks this week, right? Like that's why, because it's like they should be off our board and now they're propped up by volume, right?
Boys, I gotta run. I'm sorry.
Okay,
that's all right. We hit
we kept you long enough. So
yeah.
I appreciate everything, man.
Yeah, man. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too, Mark. He should have said, "I gotta fly."
Oh, Nez!
It's too late. It's too late, Mark. You missed it.
Who do you guys like here?
Oh, geez. Yeah. He's always a great click. I've been taking a lot of Derrick Henry as well.
Oh my God,
Yes,
I love you. Yes, Derrick Henry right now.
Wide
Let's
receiver.
do 2 versus 1. Let's go.
Derrick Henry, baby.
Take Derrick Henry.
Dude, that
Numi, you were gonna
Colts
add
is a
something.
run funnel.
You were gonna add something about the previous point that Mark just made.
Yeah, I will just say like that's why I my running back that I did choose in that last scenario was Najee, and it was so yeah. I mean, I totally agree. I mean, it's not. I mean, your route made total sense. Like, I was just trying to for the stream, make something different. But yeah, I would only do it with the running backs that have the have that volume. So
like 30 touch potential.
Yeah, I'm not going out of like I won't do 2 running backs like a Josh Jacobs with some. I won't go into that. You know what I mean? I'll stick with the guys like. I really like Aaron Jones, and I know that he's getting drafted a lot, but man, I don't know. I'm starting to fall in love with a lot of these running backs down the board. And I like the running backs above on the board. So it's been making me just like, it's interesting. I'm like, at that point, I just like it, with that Derrick Henry, like I almost would do AJ Brown because it's like of all the options I like. And then you're just locking up AJ Brown, but yeah, it's an interesting.
Right. No, I got you for sure. That plays right into something I want to talk about, but let's make this pick first. Okay, we got Henry and Andrews. Do you guys want to take a swing on CMC? And we're locking up 2 maybe 30+ point running backs with the potential that we were talking about there, or do you think it's too high risk?
I wouldn't, but I mean, we can.
Okay. What about a Pittman run back?
I like Pittman run back.
I would do Cooper. But that's just me.
Okay.
You guys do you. You guys do you. No, you guys do you.
Numi draft.
Numi, you picked them, man.
If you want my thing for Cooper,
own your picks, man. Own your picks.
I'll give you the Cooper bull case.
Okay. Okay, let's talk about this right before the Cooper bull case. Well, I want to talk about the Cooper bull case, but what Chad brings up plays right in. It's a bit slate dependent though, because so many good wide receivers are off the board. What I want to just say to that overarching, and like for those who don't know the background of Mark and like whatever, like talking theory and then putting it into actual practice is like 2 distinctly different things. And I think it's sharp to recognize that like, yeah, the good wide receivers are off this week, so we should be pushing up those elite running backs as well. From a theoretical standpoint, what Mark is saying is these constructions should always be 1-1-3-1, right? Like from a theoretical standpoint. Now in actual practice on a given week where we're missing, Hills, Evans, Debo, Tyreek, Waddle, whatever, like all these guys, right? We're missing it. Chad brings up a great point that it's like, yeah, well, on this given slate, and absolutely, those are the adjustments, and that's part of the game theory and way to approach these games, right? Where it's like, okay, like from a theoretical standpoint, we're supposed to be playing this way, but optimal is not always optimal given the context of actual football, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, we love to use that word, slate dependent. That's
slate dependent.
Yeah, that's one
it's
of our
basically slate dependent
words.
and our combinatorial ownership. Put it in the jar.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I didn't mean to
Numi,
get
say it
excited
again.
there, John.
Yeah, say it again, Numi.
Making him rich.
So I'll give you the Cooper Bull case here because
give me the Cooper Bull case after we make this
after
pick.
this pick. Yes, sir. I mean, man, I'm still I see Eckler there, and it's tough. It's tough.
Yep.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get all the points, man. I do, but man,
I'm looking at this team right now, and I'm going. We're taking Eckler as a naked, he's Eckler play. And then I'm thinking Drake London plus Marcus Mariota.
Love it.
Whoo! You are speaking. Oh, you're just I love it.
You like that?
I love it. Oh yeah.
Okay. Give me the Cooper Bull case.
Cooper Bull case. All right. So Amari Cooper has an elite 2.31 yards per route run.
Nice.
Cooper, with all of this volume that he has, so he is the only people ahead of Amari Cooper in weighted opportunity rating is literally Mark Andrews.
This is how we're not paying attention. This is how we're not paying attention. London's already gone. I'm hyping London.
Kevin
and Mariota sucks.
Oh, yeah, you didn't consider that.
I didn't consider either of those things. Okay, let's come up with a new plan. We could go Gabe mini stack with Mark Andrews, or
dude, I like something different. I like the Isaiah McKenzie.
Okay, sure, yeah, I like that
for the game stack. I'm with you.
And then who
just
are
might
we
have to
running
get
at
naked
quarterback?
at QB.
Okay. The other thing that exists
go to quarterback.
We could do Dobbs. We could do Dobbs and Rodgers, or we could do Marquise and Kyler.
You do it. Yeah, no, Dobbs and Rodgers. Dobbs and Rodgers? You want it?
Oh, fuck.
No, we didn't get it.
It's not going to happen.
I got it.
You're a legend!
Yes, we did.
You know what that is? That's 24. That's 24 tables of Poker Stars right there, boys. Don't you ever forget. 24 tables at a time, baby. A million hands in a year. You don't think I got this quick twitch
Mitch Haniger would be proud.
Oh, my
what a
God.
freak.
Would he ever? What?
That is insane.
Yeah. Let's go, Willis.
He had us for a second.
No, I like the Zacchaeus call. I do like that. The go off the wall. We're not going off the wall. We're going to a whole nother country to find that call.
Yeah, that is.
I kind of like this little. I don't know.
I like it, man.
The one it's kind of fun.
I will say about Rodgers is I was looking up that game, and I was like, "Is this sneaky or not?" Let me just get what I found. It's gonna take 10 years, so give the. I
think it's definitely sneaky because as far as
it's sneaky because it's bad. Yeah,
I mean, no one's doing that. I have done it once just because I think the Dubs target share is a definite signal, and the Patriots just don't look very good. Rodgers needs a blow up game. I'm into it.
And no Watson, no Watkins, and the coach speak and Rodgers speak of just being like, "Yo, this guy can play ball."
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I don't know. Wait and see.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to find what I got, but basically all I got is I love Romeo Dobbs, so I love it.
Okay.
Oh, the fact that he had a 94% route rate, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that. That's very fun from a rookie wideout on the Packers. He normally hates rookie wide receivers, especially. So.
Yeah, no, for sure. I like that. One thing I wanted to talk about that we didn't get to when we were diving into the ADP stuff that I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts on is I can make a bear case, in my opinion, for everyone at the top of the board here. You know what I mean? It's just it's not jumping off the page bear case, but Saquon, okay, Thursday night, all the wide receivers are out, and he's the focal point of the offense. Chubb, the trailing game script doesn't go in their favor. Hunt becomes the rotational piece that is the one you need, right? McCaffrey doesn't play, right? Like there's that narrative. Eckler is just dog shit now and he's playing 50% of snaps, and Herbert doesn't play. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm looking at the top of this board and I'm just like, man, I can make some like really bare cases about all this. Like Jamal Williams, not actually a bell cow, getting 20 touches as the lead guy, doesn't really play. Craig Reynolds plays.
Well, a lot of these guys, I mean, it's the case for like almost every player that we're selecting it, but especially running back, like it's tight end dependent. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of these running backs here are very, very, I said tight end, touchdown dependent. Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, Willis. We are. And Chubb, if Chubb could, not find his way to the like, that's why Chubb and Henry are such like popular fades in the DFS community, is because like, they're not heavy pass catchers, even though Henry is catching more passes lately, which is like very interesting. Like you said, it's really not hard to make bear cases for all these. That's why I really like going down the board. That's why I'm a big fan of going down the board on running back this week. Like Herbert, Patterson really sticks out to me. Like you guys mentioned Devontae. I really like Dameon Pierce, dude. I don't know why. I can smell a big game for Dameon Pierce.
You can just feel it. The Nez takes are flowing. You can just feel it coming.
I got goosebumps, man. I got goosebumps. These Chargers, man, they just cannot get out of their own way. Like it's just.
So I will say to the Chargers, they're more of a pass funnel than they are like running. So
yeah, like, this year for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I get the Dameon Pierce thing, but if anything, like it's Davis Mills wheels up. Like I like Davis,
but they don't. But they're not gonna. But they want to run. They know Davis Mills is not.
I mean, they want to, but
the Texans don't care about what a funnel. Like they don't care. They want to run the ball and keep Davis. Like they don't want to have Davis Mills win the game. I'm telling. Like they know.
If the Chargers are up, it's hard to run the ball against that defense with a rookie running back that's fumbled twice. That's my only thing. Is I just don't. I see him. He could easily do it, but I mean, I could easily see it being 14-0, and you're not going to have Dameon Pierce on the field.
Right. It becomes Rex Burkhead season.
Yeah. Game script is going. He's definitely can be a victim of game script for sure. I'll give you that.
Yeah. Hey, well, yeah. There you go. Did you not see that run funnel?
Wasn't that
for J-Rob last week?
Was that the fourth? Was that the right game? Was that the 4th and 1 where he just broke it long, or no? Is that not that play?
I can't remember.
I mean, if I'm just going off metrics, they're worse in the pass game than they are the running. So that is why we call them the more of a pass funnel. But
yeah.
And again, this is without Joey Bosa, so that is another thing. Like that arguably changes their whole defense. Like Joey Bosa is a game wrecker. He helps every facet of their defense. So him not being there is going to be that could make them easily more of a run and pass or just crappy defense. So. Yeah. It's just thing of with all the running backs there. It's tough to click Dameon Pierce. Really is.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's not going to be my most
gross shit. Yeah, that's why we're talking about gross shit. Let's talk about another gross one that we haven't mentioned all week is James Conner. What do we think about AJ Green being out? Mark said Panthers defense is for real, like that sort of thing. Why can't James Conner just be the guy that we were all drafting him to be, 3-4 weeks ago? Maybe he came back a little prematurely last week after the injury and forced his way into playing. Maybe Rondell sits again, and all of a sudden it just becomes like a
Hollywood Brown's a late questionable too, by the way.
There you go. Right. Like, how can we paint a narrative for, it's so thin, but like, I don't know. My point more being that like I think I can paint narratives for these back end guys in better ways than usual, whereas the top end guys aren't as like smash as I think this week. I think that's just like my only overarching point.
James Conner can get you there with like 3 touchdowns, but like 2 touchdowns isn't going to do it because he's not going to amass like any more than like 50 yards. So
that's a good point. That's a good point.
They could, just with how bad their offense has been passing, they could theoretically like try to like, not again, it goes all with your point. They could try and establish the run, but that could only get you 50 yards. and we're not going to give you.
I would rather get cute elsewhere.
We're looking for the highest scoring running back on the slate, right? Like that's how we're going to win this contest. You need to have, especially if you're only running one out there, you need the highest scoring running back on the slate. And James Conner probably doesn't fit that narrative.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's fair.
Rip
James
Conner, man. Rip James Conner.
Rip. Yeah, and we got the Keenan Allen's out for sure.
Yep, he's out.
Yeah, according to Sleeper.
Okay.
No, he's out. He's out according to Fantasy Life too.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I trust me some Matthew Berry. I trust Matthew Berry's Fantasy Life app.
Yes. The OG.
One thing that I did, and I'm not finding him now, of course, so never mind. Someone else take it because I am totally lost. I was looking at someone, and
I think the Richie James shout is actually kind of interesting. Like, they think he's probably the most talented wide receiver they have. Their pass rate over expectation on first down is above league average and way higher than anyone expected with a team with Barkley, right? They kind of flipped the script between week 1 and weeks 2 and 3. And then you lose Shepard, Galladay's dust and dropping everything, and you lose Tony's already ruled out. And it's just kind of like, okay, is he this 80, 90% snap guy all of a sudden where they're going to try and get there with the pass? I don't know if they're going to be trailing in that game. That game seems kind of blah for Chicago. Like it seems very like it feels very similar to the way that the Dallas and Giants game played last week, you know, where it's just like, oh, okay, I guess. Right.
Yeah. It kind of feels like the game that the Giants or the Bears just played against the Texans, you know, both these teams just like don't have high aspirations for themselves, it feels like. So
yeah, they don't seem like they want to win games. They're not really in they're not in the
business of winning games.
Yeah, they don't really enjoy that whole scoring more points than the other team. They're like, you know what? No, I think we can get it done other ways. So we're gonna try that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
I hope so, Bob. I hope so.
Yeah. No, if they would have made it, if they would have literally wanted to get Pickett in, it would have been with the 11 days that they had to get him in. They would not throw him. Hold on. I'm not saying it won't happen, but if it did, man, would that just be just hilarious. You had 11 days to get Pickett in, and then all of a sudden in the middle of the game, you take Trubisky out, and you're like, oh, it's going to be Pickett time. That would be hilarious.
You could have made it a huge narrative too, where it's like you could have named him the starter on Monday. You could have been like, okay, sold some tickets. Like the future's here. We're coming back home. We're coming off that Thursday night game. Yeah.
The Darnell Mooney call is interesting because I'm pretty sure that like Justin Fields may be the worst passer in the entire league and thrown all of the worst pass attempts, and that Bears team sucks. So I mean, is this a genie bottle feeling, or what are we thinking here?
Got it. Yeah. All right, boys. Let's wrap her in there. That was a nice one. Good with Mark there. Nice stream from the lads. Yeah, it's a funny shout. Over under 8 completion.
It's so funny.
That can't be too far off the actual line.
Man, it's been ugly so far. And I was kind of on him. Mark was on him quite a bit as well. Like just okay, maybe this is the year. The offense was like super consolidated around.
They don't want to win.
But just the way I don't care if they win to score fantasy points.
They have nothing around them. They have $100 million in cap space coming next year. They're not even going to have Fields as their quarterback. They don't give a crap about Justin Fields, bro.
Yeah, that's kind of that's pretty fucking true. I mean,
they're going to have a top pick and all that money. They're like, get out of here, Justin.
Yeah. All right, boys, that's good. Good luck this weekend to everybody. And next week, Monday, if you ship the 50 dimes, you're on the show. We're adding a box right here. I'll boot myself off the box up here. Someone else, whoever wins the show can come stand in this or wins the contest this weekend. Open invite. Anybody out there wins the contest, you're in. Come hang out. Let's do it. That's all I got. You guys got nothing else? No.
I want to see the favorite part of the show, man.
Oh, of course. Everybody's favorite part of the show. The end.